Welcome to the first episode of School of Thought. We're going to get straight into it today. We're going to talk about clarity of mind. If you want to make important decisions in life, I think it's really important that you get into a space where you're just shut off from everything, where you're shut off from as many distractions as you can possibly get. And that's difficult in today's world. You know, we're bombarded with so many things from social media, there's so many different technological things that can distract us, computers, iPhones, tablets, there's just everything. It's almost as if the world has been designed to give us as little clarity of mind as possible. The opposite of clarity of mind, in my opinion, is if you think about Oxford Circus in London. Have a think about it. If you've ever walked down Oxford Street and get into Oxford Circus in London, you're bombarded with everything. Flashing lights, offers to go in different shops, different people you're trying to judge, different people you're trying to dodge. That's just when I feel like I'm most stressed. I've got too many things to think about, too many things going on, and my brain is just getting warped. It's getting overloaded with information. And if I'm trying to think about something at that point, I just find I cannot do anything. But if you're going to make an important decision, I think it's extremely important to get into a space where you've just got as little mental noise as possible. And you can just have a think about the important things in your life. Now, one example that I can think of where just being in a really calm, quite beautiful environment that helped me make a really important decision was a couple of years ago when I was feeling pretty stressed about starting a new career. I put in a lot of groundwork into trying to change paths from what I was doing before, and I decided to go into teaching. It was a pretty big step. Wasn't 100% sure, if I'm being honest, if I was making the right decision. But I went on holiday to France, and in the south of France, it was in quite a rural area. And very fortunately, when you went out at night, you could actually see a lot more of the stars that you can see in the UK. I don't know what it is about the geography of the place or whatever, but looking up, you could see the hugest mass of stars that I'd ever seen. And it was so clear to the point you could even see satellites moving across the sky. And it was just so nice to just look out there and just, first of all, stop thinking for a minute, because my brain was swirling with lots of different thoughts at the time. And it just helped me to kind of, it's like, I'll use the analogy of a computer. When a computer's running too many programs, it's got too many things going on, first of all it starts to overheat, things that programs don't run properly, and eventually the thing crashes, it freezes, and you have to restart the whole thing again. It has almost like a mental meltdown. And when your brain's in this sort of situation, I think you need to do what I did, is just get in a place where you're calm, a place where you've got space, your brain has actually got the space and the sort of lack of background noise to allow you to think properly. So anyway, back to being in France, I was looking up into the sky and everything just became clear. I just started to think to myself, you've changed paths. First of all, congratulations to myself for having the guts to do that. A lot of people stay in the same job that they don't like for life just because it's secure. But I'd actually sort of gave myself some props for actually wanting to change career, putting in the effort and the time to do what I need to do to get into this new career. And then I thought, well, there are many others that have been here before me. Lots of other people have changed career. They've taken a bit of a gamble, but it's paid off for them. And I have to think positively about that. And even if it didn't work out, I kind of thought to myself, well, I'm not an idiot. There are other things I can go into. There's other paths I can take. I've done one path. I'm moving into another one. There's lots of possibilities. And just being in that calm frame of mind just allowed me to think like that. I think the worst possible situation you can put yourself in if you're trying to think things through is in a crowded environment where there's lots of noise. I mean, the good example I'd use is Oxford Circus in London, where there's traffic, there's lights, there's lots of people, and it just doesn't work. Or being in a crowded pub or a crowded shopping centre, your brain's overstimulated and you're just not going to be able to think properly. But coming to a place like this, I mean, you're right, it's not the best day, but just being able to look out onto the horizon and just being able to think about things that are a lot bigger than the problem that you're thinking about. I mean, that was another thing about looking up at the sky. You actually think about the fact that out there in the big black nothingness is a huge galaxy, beyond that many other galaxies, and you actually start to think, well, this problem of mine is actually really insignificant as to what's going on out there. Now, we've come down to Brighton today, me and a friend, just to kind of catch up and see what's going on, and even though it's not the best day, I still feel like I'm getting a bit calmer, sort of looking out into the ocean, and beaches are great places to come. I enjoy going down to Lyme Regis quite a bit, which is about a 2-hour drive for me. Beautiful coastline, brilliant walks you can do, it just kind of clears your head. But that's obviously not very practical if I'm stressed sort of in the middle of the night, or if it's during a work day. I haven't really got the luxury of being able to drive to Brighton or Lyme Regis for things like this. So some examples I use that are very helpful to me, it's just around the corner from where I live in the centre of Bath, is Victoria Park. Fantastic Georgian architecture in the Royal Crescent, which is great to look at. There's some points where you can look out over quite a big section of Bath, that helps to clear my head. I also like to go to the Westbury White Horse, which is about half an hour's drive from me. It's literally what it sounds like. It's a white horse which has been carved into the side of the hill. But from up there you can see for miles and miles around. And just sort of looking down on all the different towns and villages and the traffic that's passing by, you sort of get above. It's almost like you are literally getting above the mental noise and the general hubbub of sort of everyday life. It just helps me clear my head and just sort of being able to think clearly, cut out all the unnecessary distractions and just focus in on what's important. Now, I would love to know about any particular places in your life that you have like this at the moment. Do you have anywhere that you go to actually clear your head, or somewhere you go where you need to make a life-changing decision? Perhaps you have made some very important decisions about your career, about relationships, and you've made them by going into a wide open space, by going into a place where you've got space to think. I'd love to know what they are. Leave us a comment, and we'll see you next time. If you found this useful or helpful, then like and subscribe to the channel. You can also find us at Twitter, Facebook and Instagram.